this world is very similar to the one that you, my listener, know. Think about the boarded up shop. It's no longer boarded up. It is now a temple, or a church, a mosque, a meeting place of sorts for religion. We know that the gods are everywhere. And I do say gods to mean plural. There are many gods who have their hands in the world. A god is created by questioning. Anything that you might question. There's a god that is created from the variety of questioning that comes up within humanity. In fact, there is even a round earth god. And so we focus. And as you're walking by and you look in one of the alleyways, you see 3 people huddled around a trash can fire. And it just looks like they're there for the warmth. But if it was any of my demigods that we're about to meet walking by, when they look, they see the Witches 3 brewing something interesting. Thane, tell us what a day looks like.
Thane Fontaine lives a life that could be compared to a lot of other regular mortals. Thane has done his best to fit in and do the right thing at every possible crossroad he faces. He wears dress slacks, black suspenders, a white button-up shirt that is unbuttoned just at the top, and carries around with him a large book that simply says The Rules. It is a thick tome, and when you see Thane, you would wonder, why are his arms not bigger if he's carrying this large book around everywhere? Thane generally will wake up in the morning, give thanks to the universe at large for another day. Not entirely sure which of the many gods he's heard of or is generally aware of is in charge of this whole thing, but whichever one or ones it is, he is thankful. He goes about his day, he studies up on the rules of the world, researches what is considered good moral character, and begins his day by simply exiting his home, because staying home all day is not the right moral thing to do, and goes out into the world looking for any opportunity to boost his own good points.
Thane, you pass by as you're driving down the street. You see some people. They have signs, and they have signs that say that if you don't do what they say, you are going to hell. Most people who pass by just see these folks, just your normal looking folks, except a little angrier, a little bit more judgy, but you see behind them creatures of the night, as some might call them, or creatures of the dark, or creatures of evil. You see little supernatural, demony looking things cackling, whispering in their ears, telling them to go out and judge and make people afraid that the end is nigh and they are destined for hell.
I'm very fascinated by these people who seem to have a bizarre assurity of what happens after death, that are being advised by creatures I know to be despicable little things. Thane I would not call a brave man, but he is a curious one. So he's likely coming up to one of these protesters holding his large book and saying, "Excuse me, how can you be so sure?"
How can I be sure of what?
"Well, your sign, sir, says if you do not abide by these principles you've listed, then you go to hell. I'd like to avoid that reality. So what makes you so sure of this fact?"
The book? The book tells me.
"Oh, which one?"
And they shake a book that looks very familiar to you.
I am looking at this one and I go, "That's fascinating, because I have a lot of that book written down in this one," and I hold up like this, like stone tablet sized, like thick ass, like 10 Les Mis's book that I have in my hands, and I go, "I'm very familiar with the works of that. Can you just enlighten me on some of the sections that you're alluding to?"
This person takes you through the sins of things like loving someone who shares your gender, or being someone other than who they have decided God has prescribed that they should be. Things like experiencing difficulties that lead them to self-medicate in some way. These people have a lot of different ways in which they judge people for living a life that is not theirs.
This is interesting. I've heard this argument before, but it seems to contradict a lot of the things that are in the book you're waving around, and other books, to be completely honest. I don't think you're following the rules right.
You said you're not a brave man. Does it spook you a little when there's like some eye contact and you can see like the demons, they're snarling at you, these little flying impish things, they're snarling at you, you are interfering and they don't like it. And these little impish creatures are kind of whispering in the ears of the other people standing there, and they're turning around and they are starting to march on you to try to intimidate you. What do you do?
As far as I see it here, I have two options. One would be channeling one of my gifts, and the other would be following the rules. And there's various forms of theology kind of like bouncing around in Thane's mind, things about pacifism, anti-violence, not instigating, not fraternizing with the enemy, all sorts of things. And then you have those other verses from various gospels that teach you to pick up the holy sword against evil, that tell you that it is your moral responsibility to fight demons, and these are the things conflating in his mind. And whenever there is contradicting philosophy in Thane's mind, he does the only thing that he knows with a surety he should do, which is run, and very fast and very far away.
Thane, you are a person of gifts, and you know that you are, but humans, you know, at the same time are precious and fragile, and you don't want to do anything to hurt another mortal. Nor do you want to be hurt, because you don't know what might happen after that.
Mm-hmm. I've probably ducked and covered in a place where I'm imagining these folks, for as tough a game as they talk, aren't probably the most equipped to actually chase somebody. So I've probably ducked and covered somewhere, and I'm like flipping through my book, reading about things like forgiveness, repentance, cowardice, all this stuff. And when I feel overwhelmed, I do what any good person living in a democracy does, and I pull out my phone and I go to my very specifically catered social media feeds, which is nothing but uplifting quotes from all sorts of different gospels. Beautiful landscape backgrounds, cursive fonts, occasionally a video with a nice soothing voice reading them, and I'm just breathing through my nose and out through my mouth and muttering to myself, I need to learn. I need to remember that there is a larger purpose to all of this, and I need to remember that I need to stop encountering these things. It's not my responsibility. I'm not supposed to fix it. I'm just supposed to know what I have to do. Okay.
In the your feed, as you scroll down and you see phrase after phrase of things that make you feel better, like you're doing your best, the world is lucky to have a soul like yours, breathe in and breathe out and know that you are one with the universe. As you scroll past these, you see a post by Democratic Cassie. It's a post that has no likes on it so far, no retweets, no anything. So you're not sure how exactly it showed up in your feed. But it says, "Help. Democracy is missing. Help."
That is concerning. This is a person I've been following for a while who only posts every couple of years or so. So I make note of this, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I do need to know what that's about, I'm sure. Because if it's missing, that will change the rules. So I turn my phone off and close my book, and I stand up and I just start kind of in general heading towards where I know Cassie tends to hang out.
Okay, so you do know Cassie.
I'm gonna say I do know Cassie in like a tangential kind of way. We may not have ever met, but we have interacted online before, and there's just kind of a general understanding amongst the group of us that when Cassie posts, it tends to be from similar locales.
Opportunity. What's going on with you?
I think Opportunity is standing on a rooftop somewhere that's high enough to get a good vantage point, a good view, but not so high as to not be able to distinguish details. I'm people watching. I'm bored. There's not a lot to do, at least at this particular moment, so you could say I'm looking for an opportunity.
And what does opportunity look like?
That's a great question. Because right now, I think they're also unsure. It's shifting at the moment in the way that it idly does when I'm not focused on what I'm looking like at the moment. I think I'm taking pieces from the people that I see down there. There are some young woman's hair who's walking her dog in the park, and the guy who's busking, playing the guitar somewhere. His hands look pretty good. It's just bits and pieces of people. I haven't decided that I need it to look like anything specific at the moment.
Where might you be headed to once you've decided your look?
The winds of fate will take me where they will. Opportunity doesn't make plans. Opportunity goes where the wind takes them, where the people take them, whatever seems most interesting at the moment. I think what Opportunity is doing right now is piercing the veil, trying to see, trying to get a gauge on what is the most interesting thing happening.
Roll me 2d6 plus judgment.
Plus judgment, which is -1. We love that. 6 plus 3 is a 9, -1 is an 8.
An 8, so you can ask 2 questions. You can ask what happened to this person, place, or thing recently. What is the greatest danger with this person, place, or thing? When was this person, place, or thing made? When did blank happen? Where did this person, place, or thing come from? Who is responsible for this person, place, or thing? And how can I get this person, place, or thing to blank?
I'm going to ask for my first question. I think as my eyes fixate on this woman walking her dog, I just wondered to myself, how can I get her to give me her dog?
You wonder how you could get her to give you her dog, and you see in your mind a website that you could create that connects dog walkers to dog owners. And those dog owners would pay those dog walkers to walk their dogs for them because they are busy people. And as the owner of that website, you could take a little fee out of what those dog owners pay those dog walkers, and this seems like an opportunity.
Apps for dog walkers. Yeah, that's okay. Wait, okay. What does that even? And then the next question is, what happened to this person recently?
Well, this person, you can see that they are looking kind of frantically at their phone. They're not actually doing a good job of paying attention to what their dog needs. And this is telling you that this is a good market for it, because you can see through the veil this woman has recently gained a promotion at work, and this promotion is requiring a lot more time in the office, and that is losing time to walk Ruffles. And this woman really wants the best for Ruffles' life. And to really, you can provide quality dog walkers that will make sure that Ruffles gets to go to the park, gets to sniff things, gets to poop in bougie places. And you can provide this. And she's got the money for it.
Amazing. Okay. As I am like kind of sitting up here watching all of this happening, formulating this idea in my head, I begin to coalesce in form. Darker skin, shaved hair, a neck tattoo around, going just like full spread that just says opportunity under it, and like just like a kind of like ratty tank top and like jeans that are far too baggy. And I take a step off of the ledge back like down onto the roof of this building, and I turn to start walking back inside to head downstairs. And as I'm going, the door opens because someone was coming out because they happened to be having an anxiety attack and they really needed some air. And so the door opens for me as they rush out, and I just happen to walk in, and I pull out my phone, and I'm gonna call my friend Yazzie. She is an app developer, and she is the best at this kind of thing.
Oh, hey there, Op. What's going on?
Yo, Yazzie, how fast do you think you can give me an app for dog walkers who connect with people who own dogs?
Well, you know, I already had an app that connected people with just who watched cats. And if I take that and change these couple different variables, do you have like a color scheme in mind?
I turn to look down, and I'm wearing like the white the white tank top and like the ratty blue jeans, and I go, I'm thinking white, blue, black, or white, blue, gold. Whatever you think would look
white,
best.
blue, gold. That is the one. All right,
Perfect.
I am on it. I've already got some assets in place. I just got to move some stuff around and type some numbers. I will have it to you by the end of the day.
Oh, thank you so much, Yazzie. You're the best. Bye. And I turn off, as I'm closing my phone, an elevator door is opening, as like 3 people get in and I'm like walking in behind them. And as I'm turning around, I'm now wearing like a polo uniform in the blue, white, gold that has like a little puppy like icon on it that says Pooch Pacers. Relax. It's just started. The business has just begun. And so I think after I come down like the stairs, after I come down the elevator and I'm getting all of these updates, I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm gonna go to the park. I think like the camera like follows me from like out, like as I'm walking out of the building, and as I'm doing it, I'm using my prestidigitation to create like this like group of dogs in front of me that I'm holding by the leash as we're walking out of this building and towards the park. And so I'm like actively trying to like, it's an absurd amount of dogs. Like it's like 12 dogs, all of whom are being very well behaved, but also like playful in a way where people like kind of look and go, oh, cute dog, right? And so with my new Pooch Pacers like thing on and like walking around, I'm like, my rest doesn't happen for me is my answer to this, because there's always something to do that is fun, that's interesting, even if it's walking a bunch of fake dogs around as I'm advertising my new business to all of these people. And so I think like I'm just gonna go to the park with all of these fake dogs is what I'm doing.
As you go to the park, this park is beautiful. You see just pristine, like there's tulips and pansies and all sorts of beautiful, vibrant looking flowers, and like not a one looks out of place. And you can see that all of the mortals walking by, they kind of see it in the background and have a sense of just well-being. But you, as you go, you see these small creatures. They kind of look like potatoes, but they also are wearing a mane of petals, and they are walking around. They're all about 2 foot tall, and they have watering cans and little snippers and things like that, and they're tending to the garden. And none of these mortals seem to see it, but you see the crew that keeps this park pristine.
Good work, gang.
They respond, and you know that means good day to you, opportunity. And you, as you are looking, you're wondering maybe if there was already people asking for dog walkers. And as you are checking on the lists of like Craigslist, maybe requests for dog walkers and things like that, and you're going through and you see a post from Chatty Cassie, and it says, "Help, democracy is missing, help."
Now that sounds like an opportunity. I immediately message her. Like, I think, like, I'm in the park. I've got like the hand. I've got my I've got like the leashes of these 12 dogs, and I like look down at my phone as I'm scrolling through it, and I see this, and I go, ooh, and I let go of all of the dogs and just let them kind of run around.
They all, and even though you have prestidigitated these dogs, and they go and they sit around there, some of the little potato flower people come out and just start like grooming your dogs.
Beautiful. And I immediately messaged Chatty Cassie.
Yarrow, how are things going today?
I mean, they're going okay. Not like, really, my days aren't that big. It's not like Yarrow makes a big impact. It's just another day of baking and preparing and helping those clinic escorts. I mean, I'm not the one putting my life on the line. I mean, the least I could do is make a few muffins and breakfast items, right? Right?
Absolutely. Who helps you make those breakfast items?
A very elderly raccoon. I think we see Yarrow. She has got some dessert bannocks. They are sprinkled with powdered sugar. There are some egg McMuffins, or in this case, her McFluffins, because they're off-brand. I made these myself. They're made with love and not evil, destructive capitalism. And you just see this very elderly raccoon kneading dough on the counter. Her mask has gone gray. She's so old. I'm like, Yazzie, Sonny, did you have water with that? Did you put flour before you did that? It's going to stick to the counter.
Oh, Yarrow, you know I know what I'm doing. This is child's play to me. Oh, and flip it over, pat a little butter, pat it up again, flip it over, add a little butter. I got it going.
Yarrow's eyes widen. She's adding more and more butter. That is going to take forever to proof and bake, and she is just silently and without further comment putting on additional flour onto the counter. She really does. I have to order whole new sticks every day. She goes through them like a beaver with wood, but this time it's a raccoon with butter. Since Yarrow moved to a larger city and out from her little house in Navajo Nation, it's been difficult to find people to make friends with. Baking Instagram is all about images and brand deals, and I can't really take a picture of dough proofing without somebody giving critique or just ignoring me at all. So I've started going to this health clinic. Big deal with protesters all the time, and I couldn't help but notice the people who were actually helping people inside seemed to be pretty grumpy. I mean, if I was being yelled at all day by people with signs and just trying to do my job, I'd be pretty happy if someone brought me food. So I just started bringing them food one day. Cookies, desserts, breakfast. Started getting dietary restrictions, started knowing who was behind the vest, that kind of thing. I don't really know their names and they don't really ask mine, but it's the closest thing to community that Yarrow's had since she's moved from home.
And the amazing thing about this food, and I don't think that any of them realize that it's necessarily the food, but they feel warmer even when it's colder. They feel stronger even when the wind blows. They feel more able to take the yelling and the screaming and they feel calmer. That is the biggest thing. That it is almost like you have oiled these ducks so that the spittle and the angry rain of these protesters just washes off their backs, and they go home every day feeling more buoyed and less beaten down. And yeah, it's because they're doing a good deed, but it's also the power of your food.
It's weird not being surrounded by relatives, faces that you grew up with, cousins aplenty. So in my little apartment building, first thing Yarrow did was reach out to neighbors. Leave little, hi, I just moved in. Here's a basket of honey and a few other treats to go with it. It's the only way that Yarrow really knows how to connect with people. She's anxious to a fault. Maybe they didn't like it, maybe they're allergic, but nobody's called the apartment manager on me just yet.
I think at some point after you moved in, you did meet Lazarus, and Lazarus is at a nearby park, and he is a beekeeper, and you've been able to connect with him, learn a little bit about beekeeping. Oh, maybe have you taught him a little bit about beekeeping as well?
Truth be told, it's all about love. It's all about being your most genuine self. I think when Lazarus and I first met, there was an incident of, oh, well, the bees aren't doing well. It's an urban environment. I think the smog's affecting them poorly. And Yarrow might have suggested, well, try planting some native flowers around in the planters. I will bring you some planters that I have from home. I live on the second floor. I don't even have an opportunity to use any of them. Please, take them. I insist. And overall, maybe it's just her vibrant presence. Maybe it's the fact that her mother is a goddess, however minor, of life, but they seem to swell, to be happier when she's around. And I sort of feel like I owe that to mortals around me.
The next harvest of the honey is the sweetest and most robust that Lazarus says he's ever tasted. He's amazed. So you gather up these breakfast sandwiches and head out to meet the clinic escorts. You said that you don't usually ask their names, but there is one person's name you know. What is their name?
Carol. She is this mid-60s white lady. She's always been very nice. She's got that classic severe, fringy, kind of like a boy band cut, graying hair, pear figure. There's just something so welcoming about her. And she wasn't scared to introduce herself. Names are a bit dangerous with how people tend to look into you and scold you and try to put their doctrine on you around here, but she's never been scared of that.
Carol knows that she walks with a modicum of privilege in this world, and she decides to use her comfort with her privilege to make other people feel welcome and to allow other people to have access to her in a way that protects the people around her. And her smile, it lights up. It just like, it is, when she sees you, it is like the whole street lights up with her smile. Yarrow, it is so, and she whispers the name so that you know that the name is between the two of you. And then she says a little bit louder, thank you so much for bringing us food. It really makes the day go by so much better.
You're all just waving, no, really, it's not like I'd be doing anything else. I don't want to be cooped up inside doing nothing. And Please, there should be enough for leftovers for everyone to take home.
And Carol winks at you because she knows that you know that she's had the same thought, that it's not great to be cooped up. It's great to use our voices and our hands when they are available to do something for others. And she is so thankful. She passes out the sandwiches to everyone, and everyone gets a second one to take home. And you realize at the bottom of your bag, you still have another loaf. And you have a bunch of grapes, and you realize that there's some place that you could go with these.
For the briefest moment, Yarrow looks towards these protesters, spewing words of hate, calling people seeking healthcare murderers, horrible, horrible names. But they don't need that. They can eat at a table, but it's not going to be at hers. So she waves Carol goodbye, walks down the sidewalk as they continue to shout and spew, and heads to the local shelter.
And you know that maybe one day you'll be able to reach those people with your cooking too, but there are people in more need, and you head over to Sanctuary Hearts Shelter, where you use your feast ability to, from this loaf of bread and this cluster of grapes, and your ability to make a feast, that you can provide a glorious lunch for the denizens who come here to seek shelter. You've noticed that the number has gone up slightly in the past year. Partially because they've heard about your food, but partially because there's more at need. And as you settle back at home after a day of cooking and giving and bringing warmth to this city, which particular website might you be checking out?
Definitely not social media. Yarrow has learned that it's a lot about vanity, which never is a bad thing to have pride in yourself, but it's become so commodified. You start to lose passion for it. So simply, she types in the name of a collection of food blogs.
And do you have a food blog as well?
No, me, come on. Who would want to read what I put on the internet? Better actions than words. Maybe someone will see it and appreciate it, and that's all I can hope for, right?
You check out, this is Annabelle's Bakery. When you read her words, you always feel a little bit inspired that maybe one day you too could put your words down. You see in the comments, there is comment by Chef Cassie, and it says, "Democracy is missing and could really use the help of a blueberry pie."
That's eyebrow raising. There's something when you are partially divine that you become familiar with, and that has triggered her spidey senses, just that quiver of, oh, you're a bit like me, and she'll type in response, "Let me know what diet alternatives you need. I can come over and help even," smiley face.
Hello, all you semi-deities out there. It is me, your producer, Grant, and I'm here to tell you about shows that are good. I only care about things that are good these days. If you're not good, heck with you. Starting with our friends over at Unbalanced Encounters.
Fantasy Western! That's what we're doing for the new arc of Unbalanced Encounters, the only show that dares to ask, what if Dimension 20 was yeehaw as hell? If you're new to the show, all you need to know is that every episode will have you sobbing from laughter, the drama, or when I come to your house and break your knee. Go check out The Misfortune of Four. We got disaster, cowgirl heiresses, trickle-down generational trauma, nepo baby witches, and plenty of moose. Episodes run about 90 minutes and are highly polished by a team of mages working around the clock in our secret studio deep beneath the Appalachian Mountains. And if they complain, we simply break their knees. So head on over to unbalancedencounters.com or find Unbalanced Encounters wherever pods are casted.
I'm glad there's a show like Unbalanced Encounters out there that's finally giving me the two things I've always wanted from an actual play. Moose and breaking my knees. Unbalanced Encounters are dear friends of ours and one of my personal favorite podcasts. I think they're absolutely brilliant, and that trailer, they are not kidding. They will make you laugh until it hurts, and then they'll make you hurt until it hurts. Go check them out. They are starting a brand new season right the hell now. Tell them Game Master Monday sent you. And speaking of things that are starting right the hell now, if you've been enjoying the Voice of Opportunity, and why the hell wouldn't you, you're going to want to check out the new season of Tales Yet Told.
Sanguis Populi, the blood of the people, the dark protectors of the hidden city of Ozerod, deep within the illusory forest. Familiar with death as they have eluded it, they are called upon for a desperate task, slaying a creature from the great beyond. Blythe.
This might not be easy. Being surrounded by death. I don't understand how they can do it.
Elvira.
Someone must watch the bodies, and none do so as diligently.
Swan.
Into action so fast. I love when we get to go out.
It came from the sky. This great, pale monstrosity.
You just had to sate your hunger. You couldn't have saved it for the beasts.
I prefer the gratuity.
Vampirism is not immortality. It only prolongs the inevitable. Is this the end for Sanguis Populi? Blood in the snow. A tale yet told. Halloween 2025.
Sorceress, lower the barrier for just a moment. Sanguis Populi departs.
Listen to Tales Yet Told wherever you get your podcasts.
Sounds fun. Sounds like a laugh riot, that show. Blood in the Snow is the upcoming season from our friends over at Tales Yet Told. Our dear friend Kendo is playing on this season, and I gotta tell you, one of the best in the biz, baby. This is using the Hunt system, which I'm super excited to see in an actual play from this illustrious group of award-winning GMs and players, so you're not gonna want to miss that. Send them over right now. The first episode should be ready for you, baby. And now, without further ado, I bring you to the rest of part 1 of American Demigods.
Lavie, how has your day been?
Oh, Lavie's had such a long day because it started 2 weeks ago. So Lavie is this femme-presenting figure that is a combination of what the youths might call built like you're sturdy but also a brick shithouse. In Lavie's shoulders alone look like they carry the weight of anticipation. The arms look like they are strong enough to push you up above a crowd and throw you into the mosh pit to take that risk. Their legs are quick enough to keep up with you and that marathon dash to go across that last 100 meters of that giant marathon you traveled halfway across the world to go to. Their hair is intricately braided in these very tight but still loose and curly boho braids that stop just above the shoulder with little cutesy, almost like space buns, that give off this little like gentleness where it's like they kind of look like a teddy bear if you're looking at it from a distance because you're a little bit scared to go into your first day of school. But then you look across the playground and you think it's like, oh, but I really want to try to like make the swing set go all the way over like the top of the railing. It's like, oh, but there's a teddy bear over there. That teddy bear will help me stay strong and be brave, and I'm going to do it. And Lavie is just kind of a person who looks the same all the time. Lavie doesn't change their appearance. It's just kind of in that moment they need a little bit of a push. Something about them gives you that, like, I'll hold your hand while you do this. Lavie is busy. They literally are just getting back to somebody's apartment who they just met maybe 2 nights ago, who decided that they wanted to try to get into Berghain, a very exclusive club in Berlin. And they didn't get in. Like, Lavie was going to be let in, but the person they were with wasn't going to be let in. So they decided instead, well, there's a techno show like maybe 2 blocks away. And they do this really weird thing where you can jump off the rafters into a bubble pit. But, you know, you need somebody to hold your hand while you do it. And Lavie's all about jumping off of things safely because you got to know when to tuck and go. And then today they're on their way to a roller derby competition, like in a couple of hours, where it's somebody's first time deciding to try to be they're going to be the one who does all of the speed things. Lavie does extreme sports. Their entire presence is built around doing them safely. But they couldn't tell you the technical terms behind anything, what they do. It's instinctual. They're so excited for this roller derby show, but then they get kind of this feeling of, oh, you're doing it on your own. Okay, you don't need me. And they have a moment where it's like, oh, where am I? Because they don't have a recollection of what country they're in anymore. They were just in Berlin, but they think they're back in North America again. And so they just take a selfie and they send it to their parents. Because they still have parents. They were mortal until recently. Maybe as recent as maybe like a year ago. What is time anymore?
Do you think about that year ago? Or is that already a gone memory?
Oh. Lavie doesn't sleep, really. Because some risks are made to be taken in the moonlight. Some risks are made to be that you want to go cliff diving, but you have to go camp out somewhere to get the perfect spot because you want to cliff dive in like the perfect sunrise. So you have to do the risky hike all the way up the waterfall to then be able to jump off of it, because you don't do that at night because you can't see the rocks. And Lavie spends so much time at night where it's like going to the bodega by yourself can be risky. Lavie spends so much time not alone at night, but on the few times they do think about a year ago. It was the time where they were just Celeste, Lavie, Joby. They were just this person who would go do an extreme sport with you and tell you the best places to find your safety equipment. They would find the best harnesses. They would find the safest helmets, the best knee pads. Like if you need any kind of aid in keeping yourself safe to do this really risky but fun thing, Lavie knew where to find it. That's their entire social media baseline. Or at least it was. But a year ago, there was a bridal party. Or maybe it was the groom's party. Or maybe it was just a birthday party. Or maybe it was just a group of strangers. Lavie doesn't remember. Because after something like that, you're all kind of bonded together in a way. At least those people are. Lavie's not, because they had something immediately after to go take care of. But they wanted to go spelunking. They wanted to do an amateur spelunking cave diving trip into this region with a slightly underground passage that was slightly underwater, where if you went at a certain time of year, crystals would light up and reflect rainbows. And it was somebody's dream to go there. And Lavie can't remember if they were taking somebody in mortal form or if they were taking the memory of somebody with them. But someone wanted to go. And everything was prepped. Everyone was safely secured into their harnesses. Everyone had taken the lessons of going to their local gym and doing everything they needed to do for endurance training and strength training to be able to make the climb down and the climb back up. Or to be able to help, basically lift someone back up if someone couldn't climb. To support that weight, to support each other. But also to talk about why they were going. And Lavie was invited to be the one guiding it. And so everything was going perfectly. Everyone was doing great. Lavie was yelling encouragements, keeping an eye on everybody, making sure to mark all the places where it's like, put your foot here, put your hand here, beware this rock, it's sharp. Make sure your gloves are strapped in and secure. We're gonna pause here for a moment. Everyone breathe. Feel your heartbeat. Inhale, hold, exhale. And then someone got a little too anxious or excited, and they didn't pay attention to where something was marked of this is where you put your foot, because Lavie's also accounting for these sharp rocks coming and interacting with the strapping of the harness that you're hooked into. And then somebody thinking that they know what they're doing rubbed a bit too much against the strap of their harness, keeping them secure. And they came close enough to Lavie for Lavie to notice it. And so Lavie decided, I would rather take the risk than have you take that risk. I want you to take a different risk later on in life and have that chance to feel that high moment again of accomplishment. So it's fine. If this is my last time, I'm happy with it. At least it's fun, and I got to help. And so Lavie managed to swap out harnesses with the person. Under the guise of, this is a landing, we'll stop here, everybody make sure to check your gear. Oh, your gear's a little bit loose. I think I gave you mine instead of giving you yours. Here, let me switch with you. Got further and further down, and we're maybe not even 10 feet away from the ground. And the sound of threads breaking under weight. Shoulders not quite get made to carry a burden of others. Snap. And then falling. And then a slight sharp pain. And then nothingness. And then something again, because the nothingness wasn't just nothingness, it was something, and the Lavie just kind of moved quickly past that, because they had somewhere to be the next day.
So in the quiet that you are right now, you have found a moment of quiet, because even the most active person needs to sleep. And in that moment, you hear the same voice that when you recall this moment, you don't always recall, but it's the same voice that you heard then. It's a soft voice, but strong, ever-present thrumming. I've got you, Lavie. You've done so well. Take a moment to rest, though. We all need rest to survive.
I'll be.
It is the same voice that night cradled you and said, "Lavie, I have watched you protect others, and I have watched you reach so many edges. Lavie, will you take me on as your patron?" And you see the god of survival instinct. She's raw. He's powerful. You can feel the infiniteness with which they lay under every soul, propping them up, saying, "Live a little bit longer." And she's offering you her hand. And that day, what did Lavie say?
I think the first thing Lavie said was, "Ow! So worth it, though." Lavie didn't know the weight of what survival instinct was asking them, because Lavie acted on impulse and saw a friendly face offering a hand and thought, "What's the worst that could happen?" And then grabbed that hand fully and embraced in a hug the same way you would at any kind of like family function where you have an uncle or an auntie you haven't seen in a while, but they're telling you how big you look now and how they remember when you were just a little chubby-cheeked baby. And you might not recognize them, but you know they know you, and eventually you'll get to recognize them and you'll understand what they're talking about.
He laughs. It's this deep, resounding chuckle because he knows why you reached out to them in that moment, and it's exactly why they picked you. For that survival instinct. But she reaches down and she dubs you the demigod of adrenaline rush as you return to consciousness. Now this night, on the other hand, they whisper to you that you've got to get a little sleep so that you can reach tomorrow. It's part of the survival instinct, is a little sleep every once in a while. But when you wake up, you remember that you've had this whole journey. You go to make a post about what this journey has entailed, what you've learned. You upload some pictures, and you already have a first comment. It's from Chaotic Cassie. "Jump off that ledge and help me find democracy. Please."
I think the first thing that Lavie does when seeing that message from Cassie, because I think Cassie is one of those ever-present names that no matter where Lavie ends up, Cassie's kind of there in a way. Even if it's like an older form of Cassie, or if it's a younger form of Cassie, there's still a Cassie somewhere. So Cassie feels like an old high school reunion friend that you just haven't checked in on, but you see like that they like have something going on that they kind of invite you to, but you never have time for it because you just are two ships passing in extracurricular activities. But I think this time Lavie's like, well, apparently Cousin Sleep decided I needed that. Or was it Auntie Survival Instinct? I don't know. Uncle Survival's weird like that sometimes. But Cassie, I've got time. And Lavie will send just an email that is, new email, who dis? What's up, Cassie? Miss me yet?
Ruhan. I've asked everybody else what they were doing, but I know what you're doing. You're looking at Udeath. But tell me who it is that is peering at his phone.
It's kind of hard, because the closer you look, the more details seem to just shift and waver to be kind of what you expect, whoever you are, listening or seeing. But the basics. He's got brown skin, broad in the shoulders, but a bit thin overall. He's wearing a rather strange combination of tweed vest and long sleeve tee with a symbol of some kind on it. Maybe it's an ankh. And his hair is a sort of weird curly mullet. The skin gives the impression of a tint, just a tint, a slight tint of green. Not makeup green, something else green. The strangest bit is the person looking down at this phone hasn't thought about taking a breath, because right now they've got nothing to say.
Udeath, you open your app of Udeath, and you have a new request. And it is a man weirdly named Sam Adams. Usually you think that that's a beer of some sort, but it looks like Sam Adam has need of your help.
Of course. Scrolling through, is there any basic details? Actually, here's a question. Because when it comes to the people who do what I do, if you can call us people, sometimes we are, sometimes we're not. They're not really picky about who they take their jobs from. It's kind of like one big, happy gig economy family. Is there a god listed as assigning this contract, or is it left unaffiliated?
It says who he would like to be affiliated by, but that's not who claims him.
Ooh. Oh, that's difficult. Who would he like to be affiliated with?
It is one of the major gods. Not so much a god of death or a god of commerce or a god of science, but one of those other gods who still stick around from the time when humans made up religions rather than making religions based on thought and what is actually there.
One of those, I see. And who actually claims poor Sam Adams?
It's an empty place that they go. The people who think that they can determine who other people should be. You don't quite know what happens after that. You have heard that there are ways out of this particular realm, but you're not sure what they are. But anyone who bludgeons a little too hard.
Ruhan swipes right.
You swipe right and you get instructions to a nursing home.
I think I flagged down a vehicle of some kind. It shouldn't take too long. I take a look at the CN Tower, and then I take a look at the Sky Dome right next door. Poor Sam. Poor Sam. And I'm just going to open up the extra informations tab again, because Udeath acts like a book of death. And it's a way, it's also a giant database, about information of anyone who's ever passed, and he's very close to passing, so slowly updating. And I just try and figure out a bit more about Sam and how to best break the news to him.
It looks like Sam really did what he thought was right childhood indoctrination told him what he should believe is right, and he didn't have the strength to update that information. So maybe letting him know that he did his best, but his best wasn't good enough. That he should have cared a little bit more about each individual rather than what any book would tell him to listen to.
I walk into this nursing home. I know where it is. Just a bit farther on the outskirts, outside of the downtown core. I don't look at whoever's taking reception. Because to them I almost belong here. And I walk straight to Sam's room, that I somehow know the location of from the back of my head.
Sam is wrinkly. He's got piercing green eyes that have dulled. His ears still work, well, up until half an hour ago. They still worked incredibly well. His nose is proud. His lips are fragile. And he is still.
I described how Ruhan looks to the average person. What does Ruhan look to him? What does he want to see right now?
He sees a tall, picturesque man. You look to him almost like a marble statue with thick hair, kind of like with an upswoop. A kind of mix to our listeners of Superman and St. Peter.
His hair is now tapered on the sides, and he straightens out his crew cut a little bit. And before I even talk to him, I want to know what has been. So I'm going to roll 2d6 to determine someone's guilt on a specific matter or their deepest regret. Make my accusation and weigh their soul. Sam has hurt people before. Many, many people, both by his actions and his thoughts. The words he said and the things he's done. So this is my accusation. I think deep down Sam knows that he's done something wrong. And deep down he doesn't believe. Now I gotta roll 2d6, and my judgment's a +2, so that's an 8. I get a sense of their guilt, but nothing specific on a 7 to 9. But I will also, because I'm gifted, have a clear idea of the best way to help this person clear their conscience.
Sam has let someone down very, very close to him. Someone who he was supposed to nurture and guide and shape and protect. And he has let them down. Maybe the best way to help him clear his conscience is to let him know that they are okay without him. And that the world is going to be okay without him. And the hate that he's brought.
Ruhan pushes back his shoulders a little bit, and he straightens out the service dress uniform that he's currently wearing. And he sits opposite Sam. Whether there was a chair there or not, it doesn't really matter anymore. Because we're no longer in the real world. We're in that split second of memory. Of that moment where you look out in the window and you no longer recognize the sky. But until then, until you're ready to walk outside the door, everything here stays exactly the way it is. Hi, Sam.
You've come? Must mean I'm past.
You're taking it easier than most already.
It's been a long life. But I I think I fought it well.
Sam, there's only one rule I have. We don't lie in this room. We can stay here as long as you'd like. I'm not going to push you out the door, not yet. But until you're ready to be honest about what you've done, about who you are, I'm not going to talk to you. So, Sam, Mr. Adams, it's been a long life. Tell me about it.
He looks like he struggles for a minute. And then he looks at you and he says, Peter never came to say goodbye. And this is odd to you because there is no Peter in his file. There is a Vivian, though.
Again, you need to be honest. Do you know why your kid's not coming?
Even now? Even now that I'm dead?
We don't choose when we die, and we don't choose who's there in that moment. You hurt your kid.
Don't they call it a dead name because I can use it now that I'm dead?
No. No, it's because it's dead to them. And there is no one who can drag back the dead into the land of the living, except for people like me. And I wouldn't do it.
So you're saying I've made a mistake?
No, Sam, I'm saying you made a choice. Mistakes are what kids make. Choices are what adults make. You made a choice. The choice had effects.
I made the choice that I thought was right.
No, you made the choice that made you feel right. There's a difference.
This conversation, to our listeners, has lasted a couple minutes. This conversation, as Sam experienced it, has lasted hours. But at the end of it, Sam is going to look at you. Can I go back?
No.
I can't go back and apologize. You said you can pull me from the land of the dead.
No. But she's gonna be okay. And one day, when it's her time, I'll make sure that someone like me tells her what you told me now.
I tell you that I've made a choice that was not the right choice. And you hear a ding from Udeth, and you look into it, and the claiming is different. He's not going to the empty place. He's instead been offered a spot in a purgatory of sorts, a different kind of purgatory, not the quiet type of purgatory, but the kind of purgatory where maybe there's a chance for something more.
So, Sam, that's a great step. It's a good step. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I've seen the worst of what humanity has to offer. And I've seen the best. They all end up exactly where you are, and I ask them the same question. Knowing what you now know, where do you think you belong? I can send you somewhere where you can punish yourself for what you've done until you feel like you've done enough to deserve it. I can send you to somewhere to think, to be calm, to contemplate. Or I can send you to somewhere and there's a hesitation. somewhere clean. Nothing lasts forever. Don't worry about that right now. Worry about where you're going next. You know, not everyone thinks that death and the next thing are back to back. A lot of people just call it walking on. So that's what you're going to do, Sam. You're going to walk on until you're really ready. But no matter which place I take you to, you're not going to be able to hurt people. You're not going to be able to force them into decisions because you feel a certain way.
Maybe I can walk a little.
Okay. Door's over there. It won't hurt.
And this man gets up from bed. His almost this light linen type of bed sheets. They kind of phase off of him. And he stands there, a glowing soul, and walks towards the door and opens it.
Wait. I said I met a lot of men like you. A lot of men who've hurt people. And I know I'm gonna meet more. So if you find a way to stop people from ever doing what you're doing, if you find a way to talk sense into them, just make sure some of us figure out how. And this is the moment where Ruhan genuinely stops being a demigod and starts being a person. The image foisted upon him has frittered away like dust in the wind. Heaps back to the appearance that we had initially. Just, I don't want people to make the same choices you made. That's all.
There is a voice that answers that's different from this man who keeps on walking, because you weren't truly talking to him. And he has wandered onwards. But you were talking to something greater than him. And this voice comes in a kind of comforting wave. And it tells you, you're going to do your part to make that happen. And you are suddenly back home, and you're on your phone, and Death, it has a little message feature. Deathless Cassie messages you and says, democracy is not dead yet, but without your help, they might as well be.
A long press into the message, and then Ruhan goes to the drop down and picks the thumbs up.
Somewhere else, miles away from any of these, in DC, Cassie closes down her computer. She has sent so many messages out to so many, attempting to reach any demigod she can. And now she's waiting to see who's going to heed her call. Who wants to go next?
You're the GM, Zoup.
Oh god, okay.
You're the teacher, you pick.
Oh no!
You picked the other three. Come on.
Let me see which one I pick up. Okay.
Flip a coin.
Do you want to end with death since everything ends with death?
That's what I was thinking was going to happen.
Started and ended with death.
Oh my god, not the original one before death. Damn.
We started with death and we're ending with death. That's great. Good for us.
Begin with the fear, end with the certainty.